Marcy Yoder with Greenville Village Theater, and we are so lucky today to have Wanda Brunstetter joining us, the author of this amazing book, Half Stitched Quilting Club, which is the inspiration to our musical here in Arcola. Thanks for joining us, Wanda.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're talking about characters, and characters that really come to life, and readers read them in the book, and they start to really just have a passion and a love for who they are and what they've been through. And one of those characters is Ruby Lee. I just think that a lot of people kind of talk about how they can just relate to what Ruby Lee's going through. Tell us a little bit about her character.
Well, Ruby Lee is a pastor's wife, which doesn't come out right away, even in the book. She's there for some what she calls me time, some time for herself, which every pastor's wife needs. And I say this from experience, having been a pastor's wife. I needed time to do my own thing. Oftentimes the church will feel like they've hired the pastor and they've hired his wife. And that might not be her calling, that might not be her ministry. But like most pastors' wives, they try to give the church what they think they need. Maybe their expectations are too high. And then when there's problems, if there's a rocky point in the church's life, that filters back on the pastor's wife. And I know this from experience. I've had it happen where somebody will be upset with something that went down in the church, whether it be the pastor or someone else, and who do they come to? The pastor's wife. And not always in a nice way. And it's hurtful. And so when I wrote this character of Ruby Lee, it was for the benefit of other pastors' wives, so that they would understand, hey, somebody gets it. Somebody understands how I feel. But even more than that, it was for the benefit of people who attend church and know the pastor and the wife. And maybe it would help them understand them a little better, and maybe realize that the pastor's wife is a person in her own entity. She needs to be loved and understood. She needs to have friends. And it's hard to be a pastor and have friends within the church. It's very difficult because sometimes you're accused of having favorites or whatever. But Ruby Lee needed to discover what she could do on her own, and she needed to find acceptance.
I think that one of the things that we see with her character is that, which you've touched upon, is that she has her own passions. And when you were writing about her, because obviously Half Stitched is where Emma is teaching this quilting class. So all these different walks of life are coming in and sitting and talking to this Amish widow. How do you think Ruby Lee's character and Emma's character kind of, you know, I guess go back and forth with each other? They learn from each other that we kind of see in the book, and I feel like they learn this from each other also then in the musical.
Well, because as a pastor's wife, you are a mentor. I mean, whether you want to be or not, you are. People come to you with their problems, and you're supposed to help them through. Well, that's how Emma was. So really, in many ways, they're a lot alike, but they need each other, because you can be a mentor, but you might need to be mentored. And you're kind of like a well that runs dry. And in this case, Ruby Lee's well was dry.
Yes. When you said she needed me time, one of the things we notice in the musical is the music that Ruby Lee sings. You can see her come to life.
Right.
And that's a very magical moment for viewers, because you say she's trying to navigate those waters and find herself and try to give back, and she's run dry. And, and that music really kind of does something for her.
Yes, it does. And it stirs, well, me, it stirs my emotions, and I think it stirs most everyone in the audience.
There's a couple numbers in there, and one of them is a slower song that you can really see her struggling with that, where I feel like she's a people pleaser, and that's probably very normal. Did you feel like you found those elements in your life as well, trying to make all of the congregation happy?
Absolutely. I was trying to make the congregation happy, my husband happy, my family happy, and then where was I fitting into this? I felt sometimes like a non-person. And when my writing began to take hold, I found my niche. And then it was trying to get the church on board with that, because they felt like, well, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And when they came to the understanding that what I was doing was a ministry in itself, then things got better. I got that feeling that I had that freedom to explore what I knew was my call.
I think we see that same correlation then with Ruby Lee, where she is just trying to find that inner voice and really find herself. And I think that is what people fall in love with, is now they'll be able to watch the musical and not just see Ruby Lee from that perspective, but even to see and incorporate maybe what's going on in their own churches, or see your story and hear from it from just a different perspective. So Ruby Lee is one of our favorite characters, that's for sure.
She's one of mine too.
Yes. Well, thank you for talking a little bit about all of the characters with us. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.